What's good, people? Let's make your photos look like fine wine, whiskey, old western photos, shall we? Lovely Mustang here for the example that we're going to use. We're going to go from scratch, but I could obviously just go down here, choose, what one should we choose? Classic? Wow, that could work. We could go for Africa, and then we could bring that saturation down a little bit, because that's a bit mental for this location. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Presets links below, 20% off right now, but today we're going from scratch, all right? So we're not using the preset pack that has 25 presets, 5 different categories, and is the best one going. We are going to, I don't even need to lift up the exposure. Normally I would start with the exposure, don't need to do that. Let's grab the highlights, whack them all the way down. I always do that, I don't know why. I just like that dull look. Obviously shiny, fresh, dull look. So we'll highlights all the way down. Contrast is coming up. No, maybe we will bring the exposure up actually. Yeah, let's go about there. I know that's a bit shiny on the car. I didn't actually think I used a polarizer on this. Who knows? Shadows for me all the way up. I always do this for car photos. I think it makes it look cooler, and then we can add shadows in later. So I just whack the shadows all the way up. Whites we're going to bring down because we want that old sort of like cooler look. So let's bring those down. Bring the blacks down as well. To about there. From there, we're going to go texture up, yeah, clarity up, dehaze down, saturation down a little bit, vibrance down a little bit, saturation back up actually. Yeah, go about there. And then, you know what? About there with the exposure, all right? Calm down. I might even, no, we'll keep that there. I just don't want to affect the paint of the car. Let's do a little tone curve, nothing too crazy, just a standard S curve, because we don't really know what we're doing with this, if I'm being completely honest. And then we can try and push some colours in if we need to, so let's maybe push a bit of that in, and a bit of that in. Boom, it's already given us that cool little style, but obviously it's a bit too green. So we do need to be careful with that, but obviously we've just seen what that's done there, so if we pull this down, boom, that's bringing us back to that orangey red. What I like to do is mix colours. So if you mix like an orange and a purple, it starts to give you this cool little tint. Like look at those headlights compared to what we had before. Boring, a little bit more cooler. The bricks got a little tint to them. It's looking nice. Let's, do I want to do the last one? Maybe just the shadows. Just a tiny bit of orange, nothing too crazy. But I'm liking that already. But obviously it's a bit too vibrant, but we can come back to that and we can sort that out afterwards because we're going for that more whiskey, dull look. But let's just sort out the reds. So the reds, I always go for this more pinky red because if you look at the tail lights, if you go here, that's normal. That's red, pink. Do you know what I mean? It just makes them look a bit more cooler. Go orange, obviously the car, yes. The car is orange, so we don't really want to mess with that too much. So I'm just going to leave that. And then the greens and the yellows, let's zoom out because let's try and get this grass into a nice orangey. When you think of old photos, I don't think of green saturated grass. I think of like more orange washed out deserty grass. So that's what we're going to do with those. We're going to pull these down. That doesn't really do anything. So yeah, let's just grab these ones. Let's pull that towards more the yellow. So it's got this like cooler tint to it. That looks more old fashioned. Blues, there's no blues in there really, so let's move on from that. Colour wheels, I prefer these more than the tone curve, to be honest. I don't know why. I just feel like it's because on these colour wheels you can actually choose every single colour and push them into that certain area, whereas in the tone curve, you've only got blue and orange, and then you've only got green and purple, do you know what I mean? You've only got, and the highlights are up here, so you can't put reds into the shadows. It's just a bit, I don't know, sometimes it actually pisses me off a bit. So I prefer the colour wheels because now I can actually be like, right, highlight, midtones, whatever. Let me choose what exact colour I want to put in them. So for me, here is looking nice, and then we'll pull that back to the middle. Obviously, the closer you are to the middle, the less of it is applied. The more you go out, the more of it is applied. So we're going to go about there, and what I like to do with these is do the opposite to the other one. You don't want to go orange, and then orange, and then orange, because you're just layering it up. You want to go blue, then mix it with orange, and then go the opposite to the green, and split them up, and they'll blend better. So now we've got shadows. We don't obviously want to go another set of blue shadows, because that's just going to look stupid. So we'll go with the opposite. I'm going to go orange, and then for this one, for the actual highlights coming into the image, I might not do any of them, to be honest. Maybe a little bit of blue, but at least we've got one that's opposite, do you know what I mean? From there, I could denoise it, but this is actually fine. You don't need to denoise it, but I'm actually going to add grain. So I've brought this expensive camera. I've got all this cool sharpness, and I'm going to add grain. I'm going to ruin it. But it does just look cooler if you add some grain into the image. So it's going to roughen it up a little bit. We'll bring the size up. I like to kind of go 50 with all of it. Close to 50 anyway. It's just going to give us that rough texture. You see that? Bit more whiskey, rough photo that you found in an old barn from a drawer that you've pulled out and gone, wow, look at that Mustang. That looks sick. Now when it comes to the camera calibration, people do this at the start. Arthur does this at the start. He's actually got some really cool color grades, so go check his stuff out. But for me, I like to do it at the end because I don't know, I just do. So I set all my colors and everything, and then I come down here and just see if there's any last minute little tweaks I can do with the camera calibration. This basically shows you, it tells the camera or tells Lightroom how to see the color. So it can see green as yellow, or it can see blue as orange. You know what I mean? You can make it see colors in a different way. And you can normally get some cool looks. So for me, I might even bring that down a little bit there, desaturate it. About this way for this one, yeah, desaturate it again, and then this is the main one that brings that cool looking that I've been liking at the minute. Obviously that's a bit nuts, but you can really pull in this sort of really nice rich orange weird color to the photo. So we'll go about there, bring that down there. So that's kind of the base of the photo, but we've still got more to do. You do all of that, and then you come to the adjustments. This is where we can start to get fancy. So we're obviously going to do my new favorite thing, which is pull a linear gradient in, minus the subject, scroll down to the haze, and just whack that up 50% one way. About there. For me, that is essential. I absolutely love doing that. And then I will, do I want to add some... I'll bring the highlights on it down a little bit because obviously it's a bit harsh, so you can bring the highlights down a little bit to thin out the smoke. And then I'll bring some contrast up and maybe even some blacks in just to darken it down a little bit so it's not as bright and white. From there, we'll do the classic, if you add a light source, you kind of want to add a shadow source on the opposite side. So that's what we'll do here. We'll bring this across, and again, we will minus the subject, bosh, and then we will just start to bring the shadows back into the image. Bring that right down to about there. But obviously that, if you zoom in, that looks a bit stupid because obviously it's not done a very good job of masking it. So what we do from here is we go to this, we press here, we press plus, and then we press the brush, and now you can pinpoint where you want to add that mask and that color that is already there, those settings, with the brush, and you can just tap it onto the car. So we're just going to smooth off these edges. So we're just going to tap, 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 around here. Obviously the more you tap, the more it's going to apply, so just be careful, but we're just going to tap around there, make that look a little bit more realistic, even come over the light a little bit maybe, up there, and then let's go under the car, maybe on the wheels, get that shadow in, so this side is really lifted down, and we'll just cover that side a little bit more, so that looks a little bit more natural coming in with the light. We can also do that with the front. So obviously we've got the haze, that might look a little bit sharp on there. So let's just try it. I might not like this, but let's just try add some haze on this front part. No, I hate it. Let's get rid of that. Let me just get a brush tool on its own mask, and we're just gonna try bring, because obviously this is a bit highlighted, you know what I mean? It's a bit overexposed here. So we're just gonna do a light little brush, and we're just gonna bring that exposure down. Nothing too crazy, just enough to be able to see what's going on. Just to bring that paint back a little bit more. And then from there, we'll put the whole photo together. All I would do is then come back to the saturation, and I might just take down either the vibrance. Obviously that looks stupid, but if you come to about halfway point, you can get that nice mix. Because obviously we don't want that. We don't want high definition colors. So we'll go about there, and then maybe, do you know what I might do? I might hold on, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm going to bring the saturation down. I probably could do this a better way. No, actually, no, we can do this a better way. Give me a second. We're going to go to the subject. Press the subject. Invert mask. Bosh. That's going to affect everything else around it. And now we're going to bring the saturation down of the rest of the photo to about there. And then we will select the car again. And we'll also bring the saturation down of the car so it matches it at least a little bit, but not as much as the rest of the photo. Bosh. And then we'll just come to here and we'll just add some general shadows to the whole image on that mask there of the whole picture. Highlights down a little bit more, contrast up a little bit more, bit of an orange fade, and then to be honest, I kind of want to brush in this floor just a little bit more. Sorry, I just need to do this one bit here because that just needs to be a bit darker. So that now looks like a lovely old-fashioned whiskey shot compared to where we were at the start with those flat sort of colours, not much texture. Now we've got that nice rich orangey whiskey coloured Mustang, and then obviously we've got the bricks coming in with that nice shadow, a hint of purple in there, desaturated grass that are a bit more on the yellow side, and then we've got the haze coming in, not too much on the top end, and then obviously we've desaturated everything and then slightly brought down the vibrance and the desaturation of the car. I think that's a really cool end result. So yeah, that's kind of what I would do for that old whiskey style. Or obviously you could just reset all of this. Actually, let me export this for the thumbnail. So obviously we could just reset the photo and we could just come to my V2 pack, which is out now, 20% off right now in the description. This preset is for free that you can also try from the pack, Harsh Sun. There's 25 presets, 5 different categories. I could come to the creative section, put on like war, that would work. World War II sort of style, classic from the extra section would work. Underground car park wouldn't work because that's obviously for a yellow underground car park. That's an environment specific preset. There's the simple ones down here for the people that like simple edits, and you can just choose a section, choose a category, and then make that take you in the direction you want to go for your editing. I really like it. I use it every single day. Yeah, that's the end of the video. So hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you can get that cool style. 20% off below, all my gears below. 1,750 subscribers now. We're nearly monetized, so thank you all for subscribing. I'm going to keep bashing these videos out and we're going to get this thing off the ground. So yeah, see you later.